Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at a scenario where Spain made an empire, so I'm trying to get at least one of these out every day, and today that country is Spain. So I'm actually surprised. I thought I had done most European countries, but I forgot two of the biggest, Spain and Italy, so Italy coming soon, but today's country is Spain, and let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Andorra stands no chance. France tries to stop Spain from doing this, but what are they going to do? It's a microstate. Almost no one in the world talks about this. It's on the news for one day before other events take it over. Once they've taken over Andorra, Spain elects a new, technically not a monarch or anything like that, but, well, it may turn them into a dictatorship eventually, and I should probably state that this is an unrealistic scenario, so of course this would never happen in real life. But let's go and begin with the Spanish invasion of Morocco, and quickly they push out from their territories occupied in northern Morocco, around here and here. And those are just things left over from their old Moroccan colonization. They station a lot of troops, and with their superior navy, they are now pushing into northern Morocco. From there, they also begin to make landings on all surrounding islands. So to figure out which ones those are, there are so many African islands. Comoros, the Sao Tome and Principe, the Seychelles, can never tell which one's which, but let's go ahead and continue this war as Spain versus Morocco. Morocco is a decently powerful country, but Spain is much more powerful. And as they begin to push down the coast, making a naval landing to basically try and ignore the mountains. There are some mountains here and here. I did kind of just ignore them, but Morocco is going to die anyway, so yeah. That just happened, and Spanish influence just grew a lot. I should also mention there are 0 alliances in this world, so yeah, that's happening. From there, they go ahead, there goes Western Sahara. They were just recently independent after Morocco finally lost their claims, and now they are Spanish. From here, Spain now has a lot of coastal control, and they're going to decide to do a few things over here. Of course, they have Portugal on their border. Portugal is not a very weak nation by any means, but this Spain is quite a bit stronger. This Spain wants to expand, and this Portugal is seeming like the perfect target. Spanish Navy quickly takes hold of all Portuguese islands, and yeah, Lisbon is captured. It's a port city right here. It's actually called Port something. Forgot the name, but that's captured as well. And yeah, Portugal, you're a pretty strong country, but yeah, against this new Spanish Empire, you don't stand a chance. They haven't faced any real challenges yet. I guess you could say Morocco was a semi-challenge, but with their expansion, military, and economy growing and heavily on the rise, they are quickly being seen as a European superpower. Well, yeah, a European continental superpower. In the world, present day, I'd consider them a minor power, maybe a power, but they actually aren't as strong as you'd think. Although with all this new land in Portugal and Africa, maybe they can move up a couple spots. From there, they go ahead and decide, what are some easy countries to invade that would set up my colonialism? Oh, Haiti and the Dominican Republic exist? Oh, perfect. Oh, perfect. Oh, a bunch of random islands exist? Oh, perfect. Oh, isn't that just perfect, Spain? Well, it is, because they take all of it, and Spain has now heavily expanded here. And now with their influence spreading to North America, U.S. relations aren't great, but they're probably going to be able to fix that as they do something looking like this. And in an approach similar to Colombia's, they go ahead and say, Cuba's government has been overthrown, you're welcome, USA. They then do this. And they then say, hey, U.S., you want Venezuela as your puppet? The U.S., of course, says yes. And then they're like, okay, yep, we're allies. Definitely allies. Definitely allies. We're so allies. Yep, we're allies. Great allies. And they just start taking over all of Central America. How they're doing this? Well, they may have pulled a few strings and done some stuff with the U.S., and of course this is unrealistic, but we're trying to give Spain every advantage, including that of the doubt. And now the U.S. has influence over Venezuela, but Spain has full control over a majority of Central America. So yeah, Spain just expanded quite a bit. they just expanded quite a bit. Their population is skyrocketing, and so is their global influence. Their relations with the USA stay about the same, as they have both gained from giving them Venezuela, destroying Cuba and Nicaragua, but they attacked the Panama Canal, which doesn't sit well with the whole world, and they also attacked Costa Rica and Panama as a whole, which angered the United States. However, they do decide to overlook this, as I said, they have been given Venezuela, and the US influence in the region has also grown. With that, where's Spain gonna go next? Well, they're gonna do a little couple things. Now with their influence put in the Americas, they decide, yeah, we have some land there, we'll get more eventually. For now, let's look back over here in Africa and in Europe. What's their position in the world right now? Well, they are incredibly powerful, and they're gonna do a few things. And that is a bit of buying and a bit of invading. And this is to increase their naval dominance and influence over the world. They go ahead and take Trinidad and Tobago and finish taking up these islands. Puerto Rico stays a pain in their ass. But after a maybe staged new propaganda campaign in Puerto Rico, and a new poll to see what the country's residents want, they decide to go independent, and they were independent for 2 days before the Spanish came and took them. Great job. Fantastic job. From there, they annexed Belize. Language difference, yes, but overall the Spanish say, language difference, yeah, we don't care, we just want the land. And that goes about as well as you think it would. 2 days of news on it, and then it's gone. Too small a country to make anything huge about it. And from here, they go ahead and say, Colombia? What's Colombia? And then from there, they say, what's Ecuador? So they just annex these two countries. It's not a complete invasion, but it's more of like, I'm going to start sending troops into you. You can fight us if you want, and then you're going to die, and all your people are going to die. Or you can just let us have your country. And they both put up somewhat of a resistance, especially Colombia, in their mountains and in their jungles. But overall, they both in the end decide that surrendering and making this peaceful is the best option. From here, Spain, that heavily grew their influence. And this is going to grow it even more, and so is this. So yeah, the Spanish are back in South America, to say the least. They have now annexed Peru and Bolivia, and it really looks like their old colonies are coming back. If you didn't know, Spanish Empire was actually at one point the strongest in the world, although their country quickly fell, and reasserting these colonies in the Americas is skyrocketing them back up there. Of course, there's some rebellion over here, but surprisingly, the Spanish get lucky, and the people see this more as a peaceful transition into the country than an invasion. Is it really that, or is it just propaganda? Probably just propaganda, but you know what, it's fine. And from there, they have an issue, Venezuela. Previously, they gave it to the United States government in return for them not putting heavy sanctions on Spain here. They, of course, have some, but overall, not too bad. And now Spain wants Venezuela. So they say, hey, US, give us Venezuela, and you're about to see what they get in return. So basically, in Mexico, there was another, probably staged coup by the Spanish to turn them communist. The USA hates this, as there's now communists on their border with decent influence and power. And Spain says, hey, if we help you take down Mexico, who's a totally not influenced and totally not set up civil war that they just had, yeah, if we help you take them down, can we have Venezuela? And the USA says, okay, fine. Venezuela was revolting too much anyways. And now Spain has Venezuela. And Mexico, I'm so sorry, but I mean, you got your empire, right, Mexico? You should be happy for a while. Great, be happy for a while, because you're about to get obliterated between two superpowers. Those, of course, being Spain and the United States of America. Yeah, Mexico, it's It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty, and we all know it. In real life, either one of these countries, even just going off of base statistics, could probably defeat Mexico. Actually, could, yeah, almost definitely. With their expansion only growing, their influence growing from Spain, and the USA just staying as a global superpower, this is gonna be sad. It's gonna be sad, and it's very frowned upon, as even the US is getting in on this. But you know that convenient communist regime in Mexico? Yeah, that's gonna make this all right according to the US. So they begin to push down to Baja, capturing the entire peninsula, and pretty much just walking into Mexican oceans. Mexico does have somewhat of a navy, decent one, but the US has the strongest navy in the world, and they just went up to the Mexican navy and went boom. Yeah, all the water here is red team. From there, Spain makes a landing in the Yucatan and begins to push into the peninsula. From there, they capture Merida and begin to push into southern Mexico. It's just sad. Well, the USA is going to take their naval advantage, and the fact that the coasts have a lot of the population, seeing as a lot of the rest of it is deserts and mountains. Well, they're going to push around the coast, and they're going to meet up with Spain. From there, Spain is going to continue to push into the south. And as for the USA, well, they're going to push across and capture Mexico City. From there, they also begin to push into the south and capture Guadalajara. From there, they make an encirclement, capture all the coasts, and yeah, Mexico falls. What else is there to say here except Mexico falls? So these are going to be pretty much the same borders that there was in my US Empire video. But if you didn't see that, then here we go. It's just going to be the USA taking about half of Mexico. This isn't by any specific borders, really. It's more of just the Spanish and the Americans dividing the country up. The USA may not annex this and may just turn it into a semi-puppet state, but for the scenario, we're going to be assuming that they annex it, as if not, it would be like, here, you know what, this is what we're going to do. New president was elected, promised to give land to the American people. There, all makes sense now. But yeah, the USA... Spain doesn't really want this, as the US is, of course, their main rival for influence in the Americas, and they don't want them getting any stronger than they already are. As for Spain, the US is now the one hindering them from expanding, although they think that if they can keep up some good relations with the country, they might be able to get away with some things. So yeah, the USA has expanded bad for Spain, but Spain has expanded good for Spain, and Spain is going to continue to expand. This new influence with Mexico and security to the north with the USA allows them to pretty much say to a majority of the rest of South America, join me or you die. And we actually see nobody agreeing to that, and, well, actually, no. This is it. Spain is done expanding in the Americas. They control almost half the continent, I want to say. And this has expanded their global power by a lot. Let's stop focusing on Central and South America. Spain wants to spread its influence globally. So they're going to do a little thing called, Papua New Guinea. Yeah, I'm sorry, Papua New Guinea. In all my videos, you tend to be this kind of like Asian, Oceanian, puppet client state of any European power or anyone who needs influence in the region, along with all these islands. Yeah, they're always the one who ends up getting annexed, but they're the weakest in the region, easy to keep hold of, as long as you give all the tribes in the north semi-autonomy. The only real important areas are around here. And yeah, Spain just cracks down on any rebellion quickly, and now the Spanish influence has more. The Spanish country has more influence. They might try and take back the Philippines, but honestly, the USA, they're improving relations with Spain, but it's not good enough to the point where they wouldn't protect the Philippines. They are just too good of allies to assume the US won't join in. But then again, this just happened. I was just talking about how the US would defend its allies. Well, they defend France? Probably not, as this just happened. Oh yeah, France, how the mighty are about to fall. Well, one of the most powerful countries in Europe, the third at this point, is now at war with number 2, number probably like 5, and number 6. Boop, up, no. So yeah, this is probably not going to go well for the Franks, as Spanish troops quickly push past the mountains, capture Toulouse, push across, meet up with the Italians, and capture Nice. The Germans are beginning to push into Alsace-Lorraine, although it's slow, so they do a little old German tactics, and boom. Brussels falls, and with that, Belgium. And yeah, France is dying here. Everyone kind of want to get in on this French coalition, seeing as everyone now knows that the US won't get involved, and pretty much everyone surrounding them wanting land goes ahead and says, screw France, we might have been allies with them in the past, but we'd rather be friends with Spain. The Netherlands join in. This is just sad. But hey, the full French Navy is obliterated. Paris is within the sights of the red team. And with Dutch and British troops nearing Paris, capturing the city, and making multiple landings in northern France. Yeah, this is just wrong, France. I am so sorry if you're from France, but they are getting absolutely destroyed here. I've made them an empire, so you cannot complain. And France just fell. Okay, well, a very powerful country just fell. Let's go ahead and see these new borders. Following some amount of natural borders, although they already kind of had that. Spain takes land out of France, just a small river over here. But not really, they just take whatever they want. As for Italy, well, they're going to do just about the same, taking a good amount of land. And Germany, well, they're going to get a good amount of land out of Belgium, all of Luxembourg, and a good amount of land out of France. The Dutch, well, they're going to get the rest of Belgium and even, a majority of the rest of Belgium and a tiny bit of northern France. And the UK is going to get all of Brittany and a good amount of Normandy. So UK, you got land on the continent again. Congrats. As for France, well, they're crippled. They still have Paris, and they still have some other decently important cities. But it's France, you really messed up here, huh? Yeah, you really did. Well, also, Spain takes French Guiana, so that happens. And with that, they also take Suriname and Guyana. Different languages, yeah, but what has been changed once can be changed again, and the Spanish don't really care here. They just want to expand. Let's go and draw in these new borders, and we can do some of the final wars of the video before our Spanish Empire is complete. So yeah, Spain here has been making themselves a very influential empire. If I had to put them on a listing in the world, at this point, maybe 4th. Behind China, Russia, the USA, and the USA, yep. The USA, of course, in first, followed by China at this point, followed by Russia, followed by Spain. But if you count in Germany and Italy, I might actually put them in second, only behind the United States of America. I don't think they could get stronger than the United States here, but they could maybe not beat out China either, but they can beat out Russia. So yeah, third. Maybe even higher. They control a lot of land. They are definitely third in population by now. When it comes to economy, well, they're already decently high up there. They've probably passed up Germany, maybe even Japan at this point. They're also rapidly industrializing. They're not just growing in land, they're expanding their military, they're expanding just everything. Yep, there we go. Let's go ahead, decolor everyone out. And France, yeah. The European power just fell. and led way to a few new ones, aka just Germany. Italy actually got a lot of land here. They could definitely grow an influence. Maybe they could even reform somewhat the Roman Empire. Actually, let's go and do that with the final and probably the hardest war for Spain of this entire video, and that is when they declare war on Algeria. If you're wondering why this is their hardest war of the video, it's because boop, 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 boop. That already looks decently powerful, a lot of Northern Africa, but they're not the strongest countries. Oh, boop, done, done. Maybe they can still win. Egypt's there and Sudan is there, which is going to make it harder, but you know, they still have a chance. Oh, that just happened. Oh, that just happened. Oh, that just happened. And that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and just, yeah, and that. Yeah. Difficult war, maybe unrealistic, but you know what? We need a huge alliance, and all these North African and Arabian Islamic countries will make that alliance for us. Spain alone, I don't even think, well, they could probably beat this, but it would be close, so they're going to be getting some allies here. Those allies being Italy and Germany, who even wants to set up a colony over here in Eritrea, maybe one in Oman. The UK also joins in once again. Why not get the colonies, UK? We all know they love them. And they also may or may not, probably will, take this opportunity of already being at war to annex Ireland. And seeing as all of North Africa and the probably the third most powerful thing the second most powerful coalition on the country have gone to war, that's probably a bit more important. But let's go and see what happens here. And that is, first things first, French troops are completely ready to push into Algeria and begin to push out from Morocco. This is going incredibly well, as North Africa expected this, but not to the point that Spain was ready for it. They continue to send troops out when Italy makes the landing in northern Tunisia. And as for Algeria, well, one of the strongest countries on the blue team is already gone. Although down here in Mauritania, Spain had precisely 24,000 troops for this entire territory, which, considering that we have the full Mauritania, Mali, Niger, Chad, Sudan, and Eritrea, that's that's all gone. They begin to push up into Morocco until eventually the Spanish come back and kick them out. They're going to slowly have to work their way back, which, pushing into the Sahara, is not any fun. If the US thought that fighting Vietnam wasn't fun, well, maybe they can't hide in the Sahara, but your people are going to die of dehydration, they're going to die of heat exhaustion, and it's going to be very expensive. Well, Tripoli just fell. So did all of northern Libya. German troops are finally starting to arrive, and the UK is planning a naval landing. Oh, look at that, the UK naval landing made it. And would you look at that, Mauritanian troops are forced to retreat out of Western Sahara, since there's now a fight on their own soil, and all of Mauritania's coastline is gone. And this is not looking any better than it did at the beginning, it's only going worse and worse. They begin to snake around the south, pushing into the important parts of Mali, and then continuing around the border, as they do a little thing and decide that they need an African ally, that ally being Nigeria, a very powerful country here. And why not get the help? Nigeria begins to push into Niger and captures all important land, along with meeting up with the UK and Spanish troops. That's a different map. But yeah, the point here is, yeah, it's not looking good for them here. My thing is currently glitching out, but let's go and finish this war with Nigerian troops pushing into southern Nigeria. Spanish troops finishing their push into northern Libya and beginning to push into Egypt. With the fall of Cairo and Alexandria, along with the Suez Canal, Arabia basically just says, wow, they actually managed to land on our soil? Oh, we might actually lose this. And from there, once they start to push along the coast of Saudi Arabia and even manage to make a landing in Oman, well, Arabia basically just says, why are we even fighting this war? We should have just let North Africa die. And, oh, look at that, I got my moving back. But yeah, Arabia just left the war and returned for their independence. Egypt just lost their coastline and the Nile River, which means Sudan is the main power left, although we all know Chad. Chad is obviously going to begin to push back, but sadly for Chad, Nigeria is just a bit more Chad, and Nigeria is going to push into southern Chad, which is where the desert is, where there's less desert to say the least. And with all important parts of Chad falling, the blue team sees no point in holding down the Sahara. And oh my god, that's so much land. It looks like a majority of the blue team just fell. But that was all just desert that the red team never wanted to invade because it's completely useless. And now since... well, there's still some people over here who look more like that in the deep desert. But since there are no people, Europe just kind of claims this. And yeah, this is a majority of Europe. Well, Western Europe. Let's just finish up this war, push down the Nile, capture the coast, and the blue team is done. So yeah, this war just went from a starting surprise to an absolute and total Spanish victory and destruction of all of Africa. They're going to be annexing a good portion of the countries, although not all of it can be taken, as, yeah, they have some allies that are also going to get some land. But hey, they still got a good amount of Africa. As for the UK, well, they're going to get themselves a good colony over here in the Middle East, consisting of Kuwait and a tiny bit of Saudi Arabia. If you're wondering why they did this, I'll give you one letter, O. Okay, can you tell yet? I-L. For the oil. That's literally the only reason they did this. And the USA, I'm very proud of their dad right now. Very proud, going for the oil, of course. And as for Nigeria, well, they're just going to get all of southern Niger. Nothing too special there. Bit of Chad maybe, bit of Mali maybe, but nothing too special. As for all these new countries, well, they're all going to be forced to unite together as they are far too weak to exist as their own independent country. As for over here in Algeria, Tunisia, and northern Libya, well, Tunisia, Algeria, and northern Libya don't exist anymore. It's now Italy. And as for Germany, well, they're going to get that colony that they asked for over here in Eritrea, Sudan, and they get themselves control over an access point to the Red Sea as they take a good amount of land out of Saudi Arabia. So yeah, Europe is just recolonized, and pretty much all of these countries left. Well, let's just take a look at this. Your Sahara Desert and your Sahara Desert, so you two have to unite to even exist. As for you, your Sahara Desert, so you have to unite with someone to exist. You guys are still way too weak, so you're gonna have to unite with Chad. And yeah, you're actually pretty much alive. You're actually doing fine for yourself. As for Egypt and Sudan, they're doing fine. But yeah, a lot of these countries were forced into union after losing a lot of valuable land. Of course, most of them lost a lot of valuable land, and even a new Arabian Federation is formed up. But overall, they'll keep existing. They're still a country. And as promised, some of them are puppet/client states, but a good portion of them still have their own independence and a few rights. So for that, let's go ahead and finish drawing these borders, and we can look at what has happened to this world. Oh my god, yeah. And this is just Europe back in Africa and in the Middle East. Well, I guess they used to be in the Middle East with the UK and France, but you know what? That wasn't very much. Just over here in like Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, maybe Iraq. Kinda Iraq, yeah. Let's go ahead. This is for Spain, this is for Spain, and this is for Spain. This is all for Italy. This is for Germany. This is for the United Kingdom. May look small, but there's a lot of oil there. And this is for Nigeria. So yeah, Nigeria was there to help them expand the front, give them better access into Chad, Mali, and Niger, better supply in the region, and to give them someone to help quell African rebellions, as it's very far from home and they need a place to resupply. And, well, they're not the most stable place, but Europe can help with that. Europe can definitely help them with their issues. And in return, Nigeria can help them provide that stability to their colonies that they're going to need. So yeah, I'm pretty sure every single country involved. Nope, Oman, the UAE, and Qatar didn't lose any land. They in fact united with Saudi Arabia. Consider it a loss, consider it a victory. Depends on if they wanted to unite or not, which they kind of had to, but wasn't the worst thing to ever happen to them. So for all these countries left in light orange, well, they're all still alive. Kind of weak, but they're alive. Let's go ahead and decolor in all these colonies and all the land that isn't Spain's, so we can look at this final map and see what the Spanish have done with the world. Along with this, we have to take into consideration their European alliance, which consists of a lot more land, especially in Africa, and pretty much just globally. So yeah, if you count in all of their puppets and all of their allies, their land is a lot larger. Like, just a much more powerful country, but even without all of that, they are still one influential country with land in almost every continent except Asia. Although, I mean, they can kind of have influence from Papua New Guinea. They might have taken some land in Southeast Asia, and they have puppets. They might have even taken Yemen at this point. But let's go and finish this video here, as it's already way too long. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.